let's get started. Okay, I think I want to do this new one I got. It's like a animal rock deck. I don't even there's so many interesting like things out in the world that I never would have thought existed. Okay, this one is honey calcite with the bee. So one side is the bee, and then the other side is the honey calcite, and it comes at the same topic from two different angles, which I think is kind of neat. Okay, it says, are you ready to be all that you can be? Do you recognize and embrace the sweetness of life? Do you work well with others for the good of all concerned? It's time to get organized and be productive. Now is a fertile time for you to manifest and create. Be open to working with others to accomplish what needs to be done. Oh, and then I guess like the other side is affirmations, if that's your thing. So it's stuff like, I am fertile with great ideas. I am focused and creative. I take the time to enjoy the sweetness of life. Oh, that's fun. Let's see. I think I want to do this like this little one next. Okay. Oops. Rest and relaxation is essential. We all have a fundamental need to take a break. Well, now that's interesting. This one's like, embrace the sweetness of life and get organized and be productive. And then it's like, but also rest and rejuvenate. You know, we don't have to go hard all the time if we don't want to. Okay, the next one I want to do is this. Oh, you can't tell. It's so pretty. It's this gorgeous, gorgeous moon deck. And I adore it. Okay. Waxing gibbous. Peaceful connection. We come to peace on the last day of the moon's cycle, the final day before the moon reaches full illumination. There is a calm that radiates from our source as we reflect on the last 2 weeks, witnessing where our dedication flourished and where our efforts were redirected for a greater purpose, even if that purpose isn't quite apparent yet. So, we've got do stuff. Pay attention to where your dedication is reaping, I guess, bearing fruit. And then where it's not bearing fruit and you're getting told no. Or the card's so nice. It's like being redirected. But, there's also an element of being told no. We don't really enjoy that, especially if we have our heart or mind set on something. So I think that's a really good reminder. Okay. Wow, let's turn into like a life purpose kind of reading. That's fine. We'll see what the cards say. Okay, this one just popped out. Oh, guys, I never usually read these because I was like atheist for a decade, so I don't feel comfortable telling anybody anything. But it said, everything happens for a reason and a purpose, and it serves me. I'm not gonna lie, I do feel that way. Even when I was atheist. One of the gifts of being a human being is the ability to craft the narrative of your life and to look back and to see patterns. And then, as we grow, we can look back and see different patterns. It's actually incredibly remarkable. Meaning making is really core to the human experience. And sometimes that involves kind of fulfilling a purpose, and it doesn't have to be like a huge one. Sometimes it could just be something really simple. Like my purpose for a very long time, that centered me was I wanted to break the cycle of abuse in my family. So when I became a mom, I worked really hard. I was triggered in a whole bunch of ways that I was not expecting, based off of the stuff I had learned and absorbed, the programming I had internalized from my parents. And so, was it like a huge purpose? Was I sitting there like, I want to be Oprah? No. And I think those purposes have value, and I don't think everyone needs to have this idea that they need to change the world. Sometimes changing the cycle of generational dynamics in our family, that's good too. That's enough of a world. And I know my son is, he might not know it, but if he did, he would be grateful, because I am a much better parent than I would have been, let's say, in my teens and 20s. I wouldn't have had enough wisdom and knowledge to understand that there was even a problem. If you look at a lot of, like, let's say, emotionally compromised people, it's so easy to justify to yourself, what you're doing. And you have a kid, you're like, you're not following instructions, and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and you're the reason I'm mad, right? No. We are the adults. We control our emotions. We're in charge. But it's very easy to slip into that mindset if you're not aware of it. So I'm really glad I waited, and I'm really glad that was my purpose for a long time, and it's still a very core piece of who I am. Okay, next card. Setting up parameters. I feel like I've read this one before. Assess your relationships and determine how they are aligned with your goals. Setting boundaries requires an honest evaluation of your present relationships. Ooh, right? Let's see, where is it? Am I working together with others? Am I being productive? Am I enjoying life? Am I manifesting stuff? Are people working well together? Is that possible if we're dealing with people who aren't safe or aren't on board with what we're trying to do? Or, maybe unintentionally kind of suck the joy from life. Like, it's important to pay attention to who we let into our inner circle. Okay. I'm gonna do a crystal next. Let's just see what comes up in the middle. Ooh, tiger's eye. Overcome your fears. And they don't have to be big fears. Like, I don't need to jump off the side of I'm afraid of heights. And quite frankly, that's one of the things that people don't really recognize, like, about fears. We have them for a reason. Like, acting like non-positive emotions are like these bad things that we shouldn't have. Like, we have them to protect us. Especially if you've grown up like in a non-optimal environment, you've learned how non-optimal people operate, and so you don't want to like trigger certain things. So overcoming your fears, quite frankly, this is a card that indicates, like, okay, maybe we're in a safe place and we can do this, or maybe it's time to change what we're doing. The paradox of being depressed or in a state of trauma or in an abusive relationship or something is that the tools you use to deal with it are not the same tools you use to get out of it. In fact, you have to go 180 in the other direction. So, if you spent a bunch of time appeasing an abusive person, if you've, if you kind of make yourself small, if you, give away your power to other people, right? And then it's time to stand up for ourselves, step into our power, make decisions for ourselves. It's hard. It's hard, especially if you don't know where you're going to land. But a lot of the time it becomes so painful that you're like, it doesn't, this is so intolerable. I can't, literally anything's better than this. And sometimes it takes getting to that point. Anyway, overcoming our fears. Or if we're still rolling with this, like, create something amazing, awesome in your life, then that could be like overcome your fears for doing that. That's fun. Okay, I have two more. Let me move these. Okay, the next one is my 52 practices for, it's like love, wisdom, truth, I guess. Oh, Remember the big things. Let's see. There are many good reasons to reflect on what's really important, from simply enjoying yourself to recognizing that sooner or later something will catch up with each one of us. Now that's interesting, because that's kind of indicating karma without like saying it directly. But I really think it speaks to making decisions and choices in our life from a place of integrity with ourselves and our values, and recognizing when other people are not doing that. So, you know, we're all in this life and we're all in it together. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm the one who has to live with me. I'm the one who has to be comfortable with the choices that I've made. I can't, you know, even if I was overpowered, even if you were overpowered, even if we're in a situation where there's nothing, you know, we're struggling to survive, right? Well, then by God, we do that the best we can, you know, until we can do something different. And that's important, you know, that core piece of who we are. All right, the last one is The Hero's Journey by my favorite artist, Rasuli. Let's see what it says. Ooh, okay, man, this is really about like making some stuff happen, guys. I don't even know what this is. Okay, it's time for Quantum Leap. Prepare for a makeover. Let's see what this says. That's hilarious. All these cards are very similar. Okay. It's a quote from Gary Sinise. I've worked with a lot of really fine actors, both on stage and on screen. The level of their game lifts me up and brings the level of my game up to theirs. Always. It's like a constant upgrade. Again, who we surround ourselves by, right? I remember when my child's father and I, we bought our house. And we were like, do we want to be the best house on the block? Do we want to be the worst house on the block? Or do we want to be like in the middle of the block? You know, we ended up buying pretty inexpensively, you know, a home that we could run off of one income. Good for us, by the way. I'm super proud of that decision. That turned out to be a great decision on our part. But if you're surrounded by people where you feel like you're better than everybody, maybe not better, but like, you know, maybe that's a group of people you've outgrown. If you're surrounded by a group of people that you feel like everyone is better than you, you can either take that as inspiration or you can feel like insecure about it. You know, I mean, both. Why not? We're human. You know, but just paying attention like to who we let into our orbit, I think is super important. Okay, here's the message. It says, feel the thrill of the winds of change blowing through your hair. Smell the new blessings whispering from around the next corner. Sense that you are being summoned to a level up to something magnificent. You don't have to do anything rash like give notice at your job, leave your residence, leave your relationship or vacate your residence. This just might mean it's time to get curious about moving forward for yourself. And then it's got a little mantra that's like, I release all that no longer serves me so that I can be the best version of myself. I like that. Okay. Well, maybe that speaks to somebody, you know, in terms of, you know, creating something new and wonderful in our lives. And that's going to require not being around people who drag us down and who we aren't our best selves around. And it also requires rest and relaxation and enjoying the little things and like being compassionate with ourselves and, you know, facing our fears. Man, there were a lot of like, these cards were consistent. That's hilarious. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day. I'll talk to you next time.